Hi guys, and welcome to a video all about recruiting people for the coffee shop industry. And not just the coffee shop industry, we're talking about retail, we're talking about food retail or any other kind of retail, leisure centre, theme park or any other place where your job is to interact with customers. In a coffee shop or a cafe, making coffee, making sandwiches or cooking food or serving food of any kind is only a very small part of the job. So our interactions with the customer are far more important. So yes, we make coffee, we clean up, we restock, we do all these physical jobs. But the most important thing that I think is to really interact with your customers. So when I'm recruiting, I'm not just looking for somebody who's made coffee before or worked in the industry before or says they understand the industry. I'm looking for someone who can really talk to me. So I don't, and I'm going against everything that I've ever been told about recruitment. And I've done this for a number of years, and I've had some really great results. And that is that I don't walk into an interview, or I don't set up interviews with people with a form with questions on that I fill out, and I ask everybody the same question and I'm looking for answers. So you can second guess. Tell me a time when you had really bad service and what did that look like? Tell me about your experience. Questions like this, really boring, and you tend to get the same response because people have already prepared themselves in their mind to answer you those questions. So they might have, hopped onto ChatGPT and typed in interview questions I expect to receive. I'm going for a barista job, or I'm going for a restaurant waitress job or waiter's job, or I'm going for back of house. Whatever job that you expected in ChatGPT will give you a list of questions and a list of answers that you'd expect to give, or that the employer is expecting to receive. So you tick lots of boxes, you get the same answers over and over again as a recruiter, and it's just boring and non-effective in my opinion. It's only my opinion, by the way. So what I would do is I go into this environment with the whole idea that I am just having a conversation. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm having a conversation. And I tend to find that the best people that I've found may not have had coffee making experience, may not have worked in the industry, hospitality industry before, but they have got the right personality qualities. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the ability to look me in the eye and to have a conversation with me, to tell me about your likes and dislikes, to tell me about your weekend and what you like to do in your spare time and how your family is, and all the things, all the conversation things that you would not expect to get in an interview. And that will give me a measure of the person. So in the coffee industry, I'm looking for that person that can have a conversation with my customers, that can really build up a relationship with my customers. And I don't mind, I don't care actually if they've never made a coffee before. As long as they have a love and a passion for people and they're able to speak to people, what more do I want? This is exactly what I want. I can teach coffee making skills. I can teach kitchen skills. I can teach someone to serve, to clean up, to use the dishwasher and all the other things. I can teach all of that. Grind and dose, I can teach. Cappuccino, I can teach. Latte, flat white, all the standard core coffees, I can teach. Personality, I cannot teach. And I cannot show somebody, I'm not willing to, I should say, show somebody how they should speak to and interact with customers. Because that's the key point, is that when we employ somebody, it really matters that they are engaging. And when they're engaging, you get more sales, you get customers returning. So your customer retention and your customer loyalty and everything else that goes with it increases. And when that person has a real awareness of themselves, so they are self-aware, and they're aware of everybody around them, then you're going to get that customer engagement. And I think that's absolutely key in our industry. You know, how many times have you been into Starbucks, Costa, Neuro, and the person that's serving you at the till doesn't know how to speak to you, doesn't want to speak to you? And how many times does that person then who's making the coffee and handing it over not want to speak to you? Has no interest in you actually. And they don't care if you're sat at a clean or dirty table. They don't care if you've got the right drink or if the quality is any good, and they've got no interest. And that absolutely kills me every time. And I think as operators in the coffee shop industry, we should absolutely do our best to ensure that the staff team that we employ have an absolute passion for people. They want to be friendly, they want to be bubbly, they want to be happy. And even though, I mean, the old way of looking at staff in this environment or in hospitality was, you are on stage. That was the old thing. When I used to work for Whitbread back in the day, when I worked for Scottish Newcastle Breweries back in the day, it was all about, you are now on stage. And you want somebody to have that presence about them, that it doesn't matter what is going on in the back, it doesn't matter what pressures, that they always approach the customer with a smile and with a happy outgoing. And this is exactly what we need. We need to stand out. If we're independent, what makes people come to us more than they go to the branded environment? What makes people come to us more than they go to the independent next door? And it's really, really important that we have the right team. I'm so passionate about it, so incredibly passionate about it. So I found the people, okay? So yeah, I've been interviewing all day. I found a few people that their personality absolutely shines far beyond anybody else. And I would 100% employ them and invite them to come and work in my business. But what am I gonna do next? And this kind of out there again. For £18, you can get a basic DBS from the government. It's really easy. You go on the government website, or the applicant goes on the government website, they enter their information and the certificate comes through, or they get an email to say that they've got a clear DBS. And having now worked in the airport, I've realised the importance of this, simply because you don't know that person's history. You really don't. And they could be the friendliest, bubbliest person you've ever met, who could still be taking money out the till or giving away products or doing something else that better lines their pocket and takes it out of yours. And you have no idea, because you won't know until they arrive. So one thing that I found really important, in the airport we have to have a DBS. It's part of the security interview process. It's part of the security pass application process that the DBS must be clear. I think you can have some things on it, but certain offences you just don't. And the way that I approached it was, anybody with offences on the DBS I didn't employ, because at the end of the day it was risk. So why would I not do this outside of the airport? Why have I gone through so many years of employing people, and then once I've employed them, then filtering out the good from the bad, because that's what we do, right? Yeah. Non-performers have to make their way out stage left. Back in the day we used to say thank you very much for coming, but goodbye, take your stuff, please leave. Now there's a HR process for that, which is, I know, only right and fair really. But in order to get off on a good start, anybody who is genuine will not be bothered that they have to do a basic DBS, and it just protects you as an operator. It protects your business, just to make sure that the friendly person that you think you've employed is actually the friendly person that you've got. And 100% before they started even coming through the door, I would get references from a friend and from a recent employer. And it's not because for any other reason than I want to make sure, again, third time, that I've absolutely got the right person. because it is so important to have the right people in your business. So we're looking at friendly, bubbly, can have a conversation, people focused, customer focused. Yeah, absolutely. On stage attitude, doesn't matter what is going on, personal life, work life, pressures, I'm still friendly. It doesn't matter whether I've served one person or I served 500 people. The service that I'm giving is exactly the same every time. That's really important. DBS clear, that's really important. References good, that's really important. And one more thing that you need to be really clear about is exactly what shifts you'll want them to work. Because so many times I've employed people in the past and just assumed, I'm completely wrong for doing this, you should never assume, but I've totally assumed that if you join retail, whether it's food retail, whether it's fashion retail, whatever kind of retail, leisure, theme park, wherever it is, I've just made that assumption that people would know that we work at weekends, we work bank holidays, we work when people don't work. And our highest moments of trade, our highest peaks of trade are when everybody else is not working. So it's really important that if you need someone for the weekend, you've got to be really clear that you're going to be working Saturday and Sunday. It might be that they're working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, week on week. So be absolutely clear. It might be that they're working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and it's a 6 a.m. start, 6-2 or whatever it might be, 6 midday, or it might be midday 6, or it might be 2-8, or it might be like, a bit more 4-10 or 2-10, or whatever shift it is, whatever day it is, then we're absolutely clear on that. So that there is no, I'm trying to think of the right word. There's no misunderstanding about what my expectations are on what your expectations are. So it might be that you need to schedule them whenever you need to schedule them. So if they're working full time for you, it's really important that you have that conversation to say, what is your availability? As most people during the interview process will tell you that they're available 7 days a week at any time, when in reality, when they get in the front door, they might be different. They might suddenly decide, actually on a Saturday I do this, and on Sunday I do that, and on Friday I do this. Or or other days of the week that might not really line with what you need. So be really clear, what is your availability, and write that down, make sure it's written down. Even get them to sign to say, this is my availability, and be really clear on a job description. Now you can jump onto anywhere on the internet, type into the search bar that you want a job description for a barista, or ride operator in a theme park, or waiter, or anything at all, and you'll get a draft copy, and then you can just amend it then to what you're looking for. So you can give that person a copy of the job description. If you're new to this channel, please give us a subscribe. We'd love you to subscribe. Definitely like if you can. We have a Patreon site as well. If you're interested in more business topics or coffee tutorial, then jump on. It's a low cost, but you get a more in-depth insight. So as this video comes out, it will be on Patreon before it comes out on YouTube, and it will be in more depth. So there'll be an add-on to this video as well, which is in greater detail about how I've gone about recruiting and retaining staff in this industry. So just to recap then, you've got your job description, you've got your DBS, you've had your conversation, you've had availability, everybody knows what the expectations are, you've got your references, you're good to go. If everything shows up positive, you're good to go, and you'll have some amazing staff. Believe me, you'll have some really, really brilliant staff. But that's all from me. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it, and I will see you next time, guys.